What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, J. Russ Live. Once again, sliding on that timeline. We are back with the reacts that don't crack back to back. We're talking about the problem with Iceman with base talk today. Before we get started, make sure y'all boys like the vid, you know what I'm saying? And I've watched him before. You don't got to subscribe. You don't got pre-fire to subscribe to me. That would be helpful. But I'm subscribed because I watched him before. I'm surprised I'm not subscribed. Something very important is that you hit that bell so you don't miss the movement. You mess with the content. Stick to it. You feel me? You gotta be consistent with something in your life. You know what I'm saying? And all things change. That's why the variety of content is there. The reacts gonna come daily. Sometimes twice daily. You feel me? But make sure you also hit that noti bell on Twitch so you don't miss the movement. Um, Make sure y'all boys drink some water. We're gonna last a little bit of this. We're gonna get some more. Y'all gonna see it when we up the gameplay. Make sure y'all get a little bit of sunlight. Make sure y'all eating good and getting good sleep. As always, you got 3Ds you need to do within 24 hours of completing this video. And if you thought you just click on and click off, 24 hours then already started, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well at least watch the video while you're here. Discord com link in the description as usual. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
The X-Men films were entertaining. We got a lot of great things out of them, like
Scott
Hugh Jackman
Summers.
as Wolverine, and one of my
Yo,
favorite films, X-Men Days of Future Past, but they also did a lot of things not so
bad.
good.
Yeah.
I personally think they botched a lot of the characters, and I plan to make a video on each of them, but today,
They botched Darwin. Bad, boy.
I wanted to put my focus on Iceman and the problems with him in
The
the
go
X-Men
Bobby.
films. We first see
Omega
Iceman,
level.
or wait, what's his real name?
Bobby.
We first see Bobby in the first X-Men film. He's a young teenager and is still in school, so he doesn't get much screen time and doesn't do much either. He freezes this fireball in class and makes Rogue an ice rose, which is pretty cool. He's definitely pulled some poontang with that.
You know what I'm saying? My boy get Rizzy. That's up there with the look while speeding that my dog Paul Walker, Brian do in Fast and Furious. You know what I'm saying? It's up there with those, but he getting Rizzy. I'm just saying.
Trick more than once in the past. You ain't slick, Bobby. But that's pretty much all we see of him in the first film. Mystique impersonates him in more scenes than he's actually in. We see him again in X2, and he's got a slightly bigger role in this film. Stryker and his team swat Xavier's school while Logan is on babysitter duty, and Iceman doesn't do much here either. Logan goes on a rampage, and Bobby is told to stay back. I get he's still young, but me,
Busted,
he has some
bro.
of the most overpowered powers.
Right?
Let my boy rip some a little bit. Stryker tries to get to Logan, but Bobby finally realizes he has powers and makes an ice wall. This blocks Stryker and the rest of his team. Our boys escape and they head to Bobby's crib. While there, he reveals to his family that he's a mutant by freezing his mom's tea. They really love to show Bobby freezing small things, and that's about it, because after this, Bobby's jealous ass brother
One thing to quickly talk. Whoa, calling the feds on your bro is insane work. But two, one of the this ties into what I'm about to say. One of the craziest things in the Marvel verse, period, is the fact that you get your powers through a freak accident and go through trauma. You cool with us, you know what I'm saying? Instant pass to the cookout. You're a mutant. You got this naturally. We gotta find a way to give you that trauma. We just gonna hit on your very existence and say you shouldn't exist. What are we talking about? This is showing human potential, which means one day one of your kids could get mutant abilities. Now you tell someone that in the Marvel verse, it's like, ugh, no way is my genetic pool ever gonna be tainted by the passive mutant gene. Like, come on, bro, that joint would be tough. You know, if you have powers, you'd be happiest. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got some crazy powers. Like beast power is a little crazy. You get turned to a blue beast, but you learn to live with that. You're him. You got crazy powers. So the fact that mutants are just looked at as crazy in the verse is insane. Bro just called the cops on his brother for being a mutant. Cops are already here. Also, Wolverine already got the claws out. It's funny.
calls in the one time, and they were not goofing around.
Put the knives down!
After this, Pyro starts letting it off, burning everything he can, and Bobby just lays there.
Shot my dog in the
Bobby,
head.
you could help right now. Also, why does the cop smoke Logan, shooting him in the head with no hesitation, but does nothing when Pyro starts shooting flames at everyone?
And you know what's even funnier? Look at the reaction time. We're gonna get the OG.
This Pyro starts letting it off, burning everything he can, and Bobby just lays there.
Peep the reaction
Bobby,
time.
you could help right now. Also,
Put the claws away. Shoot specifically after the claws are gone. Mind you, you see that his only power is having claws. All he does, his fists that are already like crazy, relaxes them a bit, claws are gone. It's not like he does something crazy where like to like force them back in or to prove a point. No, he literally just Relax. Ooh, boom. Bro don't have a healing factor or adamantium skull. He's dead right here. The joint is insane, bro.
Why does the cop smoke Logan, shooting him in the head with no hesitation, but does nothing when Pyro starts shooting flames at everyone?
I don't know.
But yeah, Bobby doesn't do dick for the rest of this film. He just stays back in the bird with Rogue, and the rest of the team goes and handles business.
Hey.
Even Pyro dipped out to try to find some excitement. So yeah, let's move on. We see Bobby next in X-Men The Last Stand.
Finally!
Iceman actually does something in this film. He does his usual free shit to pull some poontang, but he also finally grows some hair on his nuts at the end of this when he finally fights Pyro. He turns into his full ice form for the first time. And yes, I was rock hard when this happened. He shuts
This
form for the first time. And yes, I was
this is actually insane, bro. Why'd he catch my man's like that, bro? He can't control it, bro. He was just chilling at the Krusty Krab, bro. Y'all done took flicks on my man, bro. Ladies.
rock hard when this happened.
Like, what,
He shuts
bro?
down Pyro and gives him the old Paul Blart special in this much anticipated fight because everybody was ready for Iceman to fight Pyro because that dude's a douchebag.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah,
That's
power
the
fight.
that's the only scene
Powers.
through the first 3 X-Men films where he does anything of significance at all.
Hey.
He shoulda, coulda, woulda done a lot more in this film. I know the runtime, budget, and him just being young played a role in him not doing much. But guess what?
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't care.
He was young in Wolverine and the X-Men, and guess what?
Yeah.
He had a huge role. Firstly, he shot more than just ice blasts. He was actually engaged in the fights, and he was just overall a better and more powerful character in the show. There were multiple scenes where he actually came in and was a significant help. I remember one scene when he froze a whole plane down while in another plane. And then, before our boys crash landed, Iceman made like a plane runway for them to land safely on. And on top of all this greatness, I remember there was one scene where he froze Quicksilver.
Who the f can do that?
He did more in those 2 scenes than he did in the entire first 3 films of the X-Men. Side note here, Emma Frost was an absolute baddie in this show. I'd have that shit like,
Who got that?
Bro, that big old forehead, bro. If it's snowing, I ain't going, bro. Dr. Umar would have his boy in chains.
Emma Frost was an absolute baddie in this show.
Strong ass
I'd have that
dog.
shit like,
Who got that good D? I got that good D.
anyways, I don't want to hear any excuses.
Campbell.
They did Colossus 32 and Cyclops, who's a huge X-Men
Cyclops
favorite.
dope.
They were just a little too worried about throwing down their cash cow Wolverine. Finally, we see Bobby again in X-Men Days of Future Past. Banger movie, by the way. Bobby's older here and more experienced, so we get to see him doing a little more.
Yes, sir.
The Sentinels break in like the T-1000 on the Secret Sauce, the
Jesus.
Secret Sazul, and Bobby shows us some new tricks. He's come a long way since cooling brewskis and freezing over ponds. He can instantly transform into his full ice form, and we get to see him riding ice for the first time, which is a classic thing he does.
Yeah, it's
We've
like
seen it in Wolverine and the
every
X-Men.
medium.
He actually did it all the time in that show, and he did it in that X-Men game. I don't know if you know about that X-Men game, but that shit was the bomb diggity. Bobby came in hot and froze the Sentinels over, but they used Sunspot's powers to counter his powers, and they eventually snatched him up and shattered him. One problem here. It's known that
In the
Bobby is
comics,
nearly
he can heal
unkillable in
from
his
that.
ice form.
Yeah.
Even if he's shattered like we see here, he can
can
reform
come
his
back
body
together.
completely. So he shouldn't have died here, is what I'm trying
It's just like Darwin, bro. Done dirty.
to get at. Same thing for when the Sentinels melted him, he would recover from that too. Obviously, the movies took his character in a different direction and made him significantly weaker, but
Yeah.
why? Him being
Narratively, I
extremely
guess.
powerful and nearly immortal was a big part of his character. But to be honest, I'm not surprised. They also hella
See,
nerfed
that is important though. Like the question of like, okay, what extent is it cool to nerf this character to fit our narrative? Because if it's a part of who they are as a character, at that point, just don't write them in. You know? Honestly, it's like writing them in at that point becomes too much a risk for your narrative, so don't put them in. If we got a street tier movie and we got Superman casually in the movie, everyone's gonna be asking why Superman ain't help. So unless you got him fighting Doomsday on the side or something, it's like, oh, so all these people died from this street level tier dude, but Superman was just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Don't write them in if they don't fit the narrative.
Juggernaut, Storm. Storm didn't do jack diddle through these movies. Colossus, Cyclops, and more. And then when we got to the younger versions of the characters, Bobby was just not around. They didn't have him in the movies, I guess. At least Quicksilver was goated. The MCU was actually the one who threw him in the trash. So despite being in 4 X-Men films, he only had 2 notable moments, and in one of those, he was somehow killed. They pretty much resigned him to being a side character who shoots ice beams and freezes things once in a while.
Yep.
even though he shoulda, coulda, woulda been one of the most powerful X-Men if they used him to his full potential. It's so bad that he actually changed his powers to become Lamplighter, and even then he was catching L's, eventually catching himself on fire. So, yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, then
hit the subscribe, like, and share button.
let me know your
Subscribe, like, and share button. It's just one button. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but we already done subscribe. We already done like the video up. You know what I'm saying? We already done hit the bell. Make sure y'all boys hit that bell. Yeah, y'all boys be safe, man. Y'all drink y'all water. Boys and girls, we're not sexist over here. Hard. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all be safe. You know what I'm saying? Drink y'all some water. Do y'all 3 good deeds by these 24 hours. And don't forget, one of these good deeds can be taking care of yourself, having positive affirmations for what you're capable of and how much you're worth. A lot of people let, you know, the throes of life slow them down. So make sure you're acknowledging your worth, man. Just getting it done, man. Living to the best capacity that you're able to. Because no one can ask more from you than your best. If all you got is 15% and you give 15%, my friend, you just gave 100%. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, I think that was Ronaldo. But yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you for building the community. Thank you deeply for watching the video and liking, subscribing, and joining the community in the description. But even if you just watched, I appreciate it. It means more to me than you know. And one day we're gonna be able to, fuel the dreams that we wish to and help as many people as we need. That's all from me on the problem with Iceman from Bay's Talk. Peace.